our side, we hope that we can really make it worth your while. As usual, it is recorded, and I think we got everybody's permission during the first session. I just want to remind all of you to type into the chat box once again, just hello, I'm here kind of thing, so that Lindia can do the attendance list. So please just note that you are here, and everybody mute your speakers unless you are the person talking. Marina, welcome. Okay, great. So I think that takes care of everything. So please remember to type so that we get your attendance. I want to share the program for today as a quick overall idea, and just maybe to mention already now, I'm aware that many of you mentioned some technical problems to join, and especially for the team leaders, people who couldn't join today. Let me ask you guys to also transfer this message. At the end of the session of today, I will give about 10 minutes or so where we can maybe discuss some of the challenges on joining, any other issues you have on maybe your group or the WhatsApp communication, the OLA, the learning system. I saw people struggled here and there to upload their assignments. So we will give time for that at the end of the session. So please not to stress, because I know if that's in the back of your mind, you may not be able to focus on what we are going to do today. So please don't stress. We'll give a good 10 minutes where Lindia and I can engage some of those issues. So let me share what the program for today looks like. Why is it not sharing? Oh, going on. Lindia, for some reason, my session is not screen sharing. There you go. Can everybody see it?
Yes, I can see it, Sonia.
Thank you for that response. Okay, so what do we do today? Already I've welcomed you and I've made you aware that not to stress. We will do all the technical issues later at the end of the session. And now I want to give you the overview, as the second point says. Today, we are going to introduce the country context of each participant that joined this course. And as I said, that is a first assignment, and I will explain the purpose of the assignment as soon as I'm done with this, that you understand why we did it and how it will fit into the overall course. So that I will just give a quick briefing after this. And then we are going to start the presentation. So it's quite a number of presentations. So I thought today we might need a body break of about 5 minutes. So we will start. Remember, each person got we allocated about 3 minutes. So we will try that you stick to that, and we will present one after the other per country. So if we start, for example, with Tanzania, then all Tanzania participants will present, and then we will go to the next. And we will see how time goes, because I can see almost everybody has joined. So I guess my time allocations more or less will be correct. But I thought it's long to sit through, so we need a body break of about 5 minutes or so. And Lindia, I came up with this idea while I typed this program. I think we need to get some kind of a cartoon exercise that all of us can do in body breaks for the future, so that at least we can really body break. I'm going to harass Lindia. We will get this sorted. So, you know, like you see on TV, these exercise programs, we will get a cartoon for our body breaks. Don't you think that will be nice? I think it will really help. Of course, you don't have to put on your screen so that we can see what you are doing, but at least the cartoon can guide us through. And then, so after the body break...
Hi, Lindia, I forgot your name, actually.
So, after the...
Lindia, are you the one that's receiving our presentations and things?
Max, yeah, both of us are Maxwell. We will come back to that later. Okay.
All right.
Thank you. So, as I said, after the body break, we will continue the country presentations. individuals in the country because you work all for different stakeholders. Unless you work for the same, then we said it can be one presentation. And then we are going to discuss what emerged from those presentations. And you can see there's not much time allocated for that, about 20 minutes, but we are going to pull what has been presented today throughout the course. So don't stress if we don't exploit all the discussions. We definitely will feed it in. And then the session will close with, as I mentioned, this kind of 10 minutes just to talk about issues like your OLA registration, have you struggled to upload assignments, that kind of thing. And also, Lindia, I've sent on the WhatsApp, we are starting the student hours and on Monday already, and also looking at potential country sessions. I will discuss that at the end. Any issues with the WhatsApp communication, I'll come to you now, Maxwell, just a second. Issues of the booklets and the materials, any other questions you have, and last reminders before the session close. So that is the program for today. Maxwell, you have a question?
Okay, so for the contact hours and also for the program, I'm working at a place where I finish at 3. So I could arrange, I could log in and listen and maybe interact, but I will be in a class most likely. Okay. And then after 3, I can join proceedings again. Okay. So I just need to, instead of changing the hours, I think maybe if I could just stay logged in and chat and submit what I need to, but I don't want to have to change hours for people and then it inconveniences others, but I don't also want to miss out.
Okay, thank you.
So I can listen in and participate as needed. I can put my earphones in. Yeah, I can work around it.
Okay, thank you.
And then I'll join you for the after 3 o'clock for the rest of activities.
Perfect. So Maxwell and also others that may have similar issues, when at the end of today's session, in that last 10-minute time slot, we will engage this in more detail because there are different options I want to discuss with all of you. So just hold on to your line. We will get to that at the end of today's session. Is that okay with everybody?
That's okay with me.
Okay. Then let's get into the presentations then, if there is nothing else. Before the presentations, I want to share a small kind of, I call it a framework, but it's not really such a big thing like a framework. I want to share the analytical framework. I don't want you to just sit through the presentations like it's rolling one after the other. I assume you can see my presentation, Lindia. Is okay? Yeah. Visible? Okay. So while you are listening, just take some notes on a piece of paper if you have it close by on the following. So we are going to do per country context. So when you listen within your own country context, look at the range of ALES services that are presented. So each of you have a photo that may present a different type of ALES service or a similar one, doesn't matter. But what is the range that is presented? And we will discuss then in the plenary after everybody presented. Let's say, for example, in Uganda, you've presented 3 or 4 different types of ALES services. We will ask questions. Does that represent all ALES services in the country? Because remember, not every single organization is in the course. So we want to get a range of ALES services in the country. And why do we want to know that? Because we are trying to scope the ALES system in your country. So you will see as we go through the course, in Ethiopia, we have a lovely word in Amharic that says kiss by kiss, step by step. We are going to take all this context and scope it. My main objective with this course is that the ALESBA can be contextual, that it's something you can apply almost after every session. So bear with me, it's like a funnel. We are going to scope it gradually. So today's session is already a start, as small as it looks like. It's a big start to get this, the range, the scope. So take note of that. How does it look in your own country? Does it have similarities with the type of services in other countries? Who are the main stakeholders offering your services in your country? Are there others that's not represented? So for example, do we have representatives from government? Do we have from NGOs? Who's not here? Who are the stakeholders that present services in your country, that deliver? Who are the main target groups of these services? Because remember, those are questions that was in your assignment. How wide are they offered? Is it nationwide? Is it local? And what are the main challenges within your own country? This is now between all the presentations. Are there similarities coming up? And also in comparison with other countries. So keep these kind of things in mind while the presentations are happening, so that we can engage in a discussion, and we are going to take this forward as this course go. So if that is okay with all of you, I wonder in what sequence you want to start, because I said it's country per country. So I don't know who wants to go first. Uganda, Tanzania. I didn't see Ethiopian participants, Lindia. I wonder if they struggled again with the link. So I know, sorry, answer.
Yusuf is here.
Okay, great. So at least we have.
Yeah.
Okay, so we will consider Yusuf then as well. But let's start with the bigger ones, because maybe Feti and others may still join on time, I hope. So I'm looking for volunteers. Who's going first? If you say Uganda, then all the Uganda participants, or Tanzania. South Africa first. Maxwell is volunteering. So I wonder are the other South Africans okay to go first? Tandy, you guys?
Yes, we are.
So then the sequence, let me first do the sequence before Maxwell, before you start. So we say South Africa. Who will go after South Africa? Shall we say Malawi, since you are in Southern? Malawi, is that okay? I assume so. So it means I have to be autocratic. South Africa, Malawi, then Uganda or Tanzania? Imelda, your team wants to go next, or Tanzania? Who's the team leader in Tanzania?
First listen, Tanzania. Since we are coming from Southern Africa.
So who must come first? Tanzania. Okay, since we are coming up. Tanzania, then Uganda, and then Ethiopia. And we hope others also join. Okay, great. So in South Africa, we will then start with Maxwell. Maxwell, we are going to... Lindia, didn't you say you have a kind of a bell for the timing?
Oh, no. You should have a bar.
We will simply cut you on the spot if you are longer than 3. Anyways, Lindia, you help me for 3. Colleagues, please stick to 3. You don't have to explain too much. Just go through your slides. And believe me, we are going to entertain this small 3 slides much more in the future. So don't feel stressed if you feel you didn't, how can I say, elaborated enough. So 3 minutes each. We will try to be really strict. So Maxwell goes, and then the others from South Africa after Maxwell, and then we will do the next. Maxwell, your time starts now. Please tell us.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Everyone's good, right? Greeting you from Belhar, where I'm actually currently on school leave. I'm an adult educator working in mainstream high school at the moment. And the organization that I chose to share with you, their system of operation, is the Salesian Institute's Youth Educational Service. What they focus on is vulnerable people, vulnerable youth, and they have a diversified program. And it's quite interesting how they focus on the youth and upliftment, and actually at the same time focus on vocational skills. And I must share before I continue is the student in honors at a week at the Salesian Institute adult education program. As a student, I got some money and I got some experience, and I got to see at a young age how skills work and how vulnerable people have the need for development. So I see hope in the pictures that you've seen before, hope, development. And the interesting part is how this organization networks. Yes, as you see on the front of the screen, Learn to Live School focuses on basic adult literacy, level 1 to 3, getting learners from the youth, from the street actually, and social work, the National Social Development Program. They work in partnership with them. The Salesian Missionary Projects from the Catholic Church has been a big funder of this program, getting young people off the street since 1885. Since 1990, they focused on the vocational skills, technical approach, mechanical repairs, leatherworks, sewing, and cooking. And the interesting part is they've partnered with I&J in the most recent years. From the time I left them, they have offered apprenticeships and work learnerships for young people, getting them jobs actually. And at the end of my presentation, there is a link to a YouTube video, yes, which is on their Facebook page as well, where a young man shares his history and how he's overcome poverty and substance abuse through this program. And of the main sponsors are the DJ Murray Trust, I&J, Woolworths, the Education Department, Basic Education, and young people under a certain age group. They go through the Basic Literacy Program, which is numeracy and literacy. And then, of course, they get encouraged to do the grade 9 equivalent, which is the exit program for adult education in South Africa, called the General Education and Training Certificate. After that, they qualify for vocational skills. And the program actually gets them into the skills training.
1 minute remaining. Sorry, Ruben.
And it gets them the opportunity to actually enter the job market, and in that way complete their practical component, which is not really possible with other programs, formal training programs. So it's a blend of formal and non-formal. And yes, recently they've grown. They've got 2 centers at the moment. One is in Lansdowne. The NEAT program now focuses on knitting, sewing projects, and of course the Cape Town-based Somerset Road program focuses on the vocational skills.
Okay, thank you so much.
And yes, it's a successful program. I witnessed to it. I was employed there for about a year as a student. I'm still going to class and earning money and teaching adult education there. And so much so that today I'm a trained teacher with 15 years teaching experience. Right. So the program is still active, it's still funded, and the way that they are funded in terms of from the church and corporate is interesting.
Thank you so much, Maxwell. Great. We will definitely tap into this again. So that's already a vocational combined with literacy, combined with schooling kind of service. So we'll see how this come out. Who's the next person in South Africa? Thandi, you guys? Anna Paulo, who wants to go next?
Okay. Who's going next? Is it Paulo?
I don't know, because it's your choice, Thandi.
I can go next.
Okay.
Okay. I'm trying to share my screen.
Thandi, didn't you do together with Zama?
Yes, unfortunately, Zama is out of the country, but we did this together with her. So she's not.
So you will be the voice.
Yes. Okay.
So please try to stick to your 3 minutes. I really don't want to be rude.
I will definitely do so. I'm timing myself as it is. Sorry.
Thank you so much, Thandi.
Okay. The first slide is sorry, there's someone in the background. I can't. Okay.
That's better.
Thank you. Okay. Okay. As you can see, we are from South Africa, and our organization is Durban University of Technology, called DUT inesizulu inyuvesi yaseThekwini yezobuchwepheshe. It is from Thandi and Zama, and these are our students. The photo that we have chosen, I'm going to explain it in the next slide. These are the students that we teach, and we're celebrating Heritage Day, and that's why I chose this photo. Okay. Sorry, I don't want to share this part of the screen. Sorry.
It's okay.
Okay. We chose this because of the nature of the learners that we teach. They are from different ethnic groups, and in an online space, the best way that we could do was to say to them, okay, this morning you must come with dressed in this way, and you're going to introduce yourself, your culture, where you're from, and more about what you're doing. As much as we have known them throughout the year, we wanted them at this time to say something more about who they are, their names, their maiden names, and so forth. Okay, it is a formal program that is offered to us, a qualification, which is called an advanced diploma in adult and community education and training teaching. So in actual fact, we're training teachers, we're training lecturers that are teaching in adults and community education centers so that they are qualified to be teaching adults. So we have core modules as well as modules that are specific to the modules that they are teaching in their centers. I only know of the CPUT, Cape Peninsula University of Technology, that is also offering the same program. I understand others were offering it before, like UNISA, but we do not have the similar program anymore. Our target, as I've said, it is the lecturers of the adult and community learning centers, which are in the CET space, which is the community education and training space in all the provinces of our nation. So our lecturers come through throughout South Africa. It is offered at DUT, which is in the Midlands campus. We have 5 campuses, and they're in 2 cities. So we are in Pietermaritzburg, in Indumiso campus. And since lockdown, our learning has been done online. So the program was initially funded by the Department of Higher Education and Training, and it started in 2020. It is a long-term program. So the first cohort that started in 2020, because it's a 2-year program, the block is 2 years. So they graduated this year, which was a glorious occasion. And it is offered weekly in online through MS Teams. But when it was conceptualized, in the first year, we would have 4 block sessions where they'll all come down to Pietermaritzburg. The first cohort had that opportunity to come here twice because they were also fully funded by the bursary. So it was easier for accommodation. So what what I can say about the photo or about our students, what makes us happy is to hear like where they come from, because they have various cultures that are really impacting on how they teach, on how they also interact with us, with their studies, as well as with adult and education and training. And we're more connected and understood their passions of teaching. So, and we're also happy about professionalizing them, because there are many people that feel they are qualified to teach adults, but they teach adults as if they are teaching children and or young adults, and whereas young adults have their own vast expertise and knowledge and many other things. So, and we're hopeful.
Sorry.
Yes, I have one. This is the last sentence. So we are frustrated about the rights of adult learners and lecturers that are not respected or realized, despite the Bill of Rights, the white paper on post-schooling education and training, to name a few. So we have all these issues of lack of infrastructure, programs that do not improve their livelihoods, etc. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Tandi. Very interesting. You guys can see how the range is already starting to show the differences. Thank you, Tandi and Zama, in her absence. Ana Paulo, are you the only remaining one for South Africa? I think so.
No, there's Mara and Ana Paula. Yeah.
Okay, good. So Ana Paulo?
I sent my screens to Lindia.
Okay.
I don't have it. I can't share it on here.
Okay, Lindia, do you want Mara to go first while you are locating them? Mara?
I have it. Here we go.
You have it. Okay, then Ana Paulo can go. Thank you.
Thanks, Lindia.
Sure.
Okay. So mine is a very simple one after looking at all the others. I've come in under the Adult Learning Forum, but what I've chosen to show here is work that we do, that I do outside of that, which I then sometimes bring into the forum. And so this particular photograph looks at a group of people who are going to train trainers. And we worked with women and men and youth who had come from other countries in Africa and people from South Africa. And it was quite exciting because there were so many different backgrounds, different languages, so many differences, but at the same time, a commonality that we found as we made more and shared more and learned from each other. So it was a very exciting experience for us. And we used recycled materials and loved the idea of transforming that to make something new, because we felt we all came out quite renewed from the workshops as well. It was part of a larger program, a 3-year program that was run with the craft CETA. And from that, people were identified to then go out and train further. And then they themselves identified other people to come in. So it was quite exciting. We had a whole integrated plan going on. And then these groups, we were met in central Joburg, and it was, we met every week. And then we had a month-long course, we had a week and then a month, and then we did mentoring so that we could keep an eye on things, and they could also feel if they had anything they wanted to share, they could bring to us. So more and more it was taken over by communities. We had small groups, craft groups took it over, church groups took it over. We had another group that took it into a whole nother level of poetry reading and making, where they also shared their experiences in Africa. So it became quite a lot larger than we planned. The stakeholders normally, it's non-formal and skills training, but coming from, I guess, semi-formal with CETA. If people had some experience in working with groups, they were accepted and embraced. The stakeholders generally would be civil societies in something like this, and there are groups that work specifically on craft and art. There's the CETA and there's community groups themselves. Generally, the ages were slightly older. We had youth in the beginning, but we did find that some dropped out. You know, life is quite difficult to stay doing these sort of things for any length of time sometimes. And we have gone back to those groups. The areas that we started in were central Joburg, and we eventually moved out into further areas. The problem that we had was, well, the thing that we enjoyed the most, I think, was the creativity, the learning from one another, being able to contribute and make a difference, and then being able to take that into other communities, homes, churches. And the frustration was that the funding ran out, and that this is not always seen as having value, because there's not necessarily a piece of paper, or, you know, there's not always a transaction that can be achieved through it. Although we have had people go back to formal training through these programs, but it's not perceived that way. And then also people finding the time and space, because we're also busy trying to survive and live and do all the things we need to do, have families. So it's quite difficult for people to carve out this length of time at any given time. It was wonderful, and we're hoping to do more of it. Thanks.
Right. Thanks, Anna Paula. I have memories of Anna Paula always surrounded by arts and crafts, and I love her for that. So who's next then, Mara? Is Mara the last participant from South Africa? Am I correct? Mara, can you share with us? There we go. Okay, Mara, you can present. Okay. Mara, can you hear us?
Okay, I'm here.
There you go. Great. Please.
I'm waiting on Lindiwe to Lindia.
Lindia, please put maybe the next slide, I suppose. Is that what you want, Mara? There you go. Okay. So this is your photo. Mara,
Can you see the slide?
Mara, you can continue. Oh, did we lose her?
Can you check in the room? I can't really see in the room.
I can't see her either. Let me see quickly. Mara, can you hear us at all? Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
no, she's not in the room.
I think she had a challenge. So maybe we leave it for later and we continue with another participant. And I think South Africa is completed now, am I right?
Yeah.
Okay, so then we see Malawi. Are there participants from Malawi today? I'll make a note that we give Mara a chance. Any Malawi participants? Marina, you are on. You are on.
I'm following, but I'm driving, so I'm kind of
Oh
like.
my gosh. Please, can you park somewhere? This is so scary.
Okay. All right.
Who has
Wow,
your...
she's got courage.
No, that's the wrong remark. Marina, is your screen, is your slides with Lindia, or can you screen share? Ruben, you're very naughty. Marina, can you screen share? Oh, Marina, we can't hear you. Oh, Marina, Lindia, do you have Marina's slides or not?
I don't have Marina's slides, no.
Okay.
No, I don't
Is
have.
there another participant from Malawi? Mara wrote a message. She's trying to reconnect. Mara, are you back? We can't see her still.
Yeah, she's not in the waiting room either.
Oh, we are missing Mara. We are missing Marina, and the other Malawi participant, I think, not here. Am I right?
Yeah.
Okay. So notes for Mara and Marina. We'll come back to M&M if we can find them later. Then, colleagues, let's move. I have to check my own sequence. To Tanzania.
Sonia, if I could just add something.
Yes, please do.
I think perhaps the participants were not entirely clear that when they, in the order of presentation, that they need to do it as a country.
Yeah, no, it doesn't matter because
we didn't discuss that as a group, and then I went first without consulting my group members.
It's okay, don't worry, Maxwell. And we are just trying to get a sequence, even it doesn't have to be per country, but we just thought it might flow better. But thank you for that. No, not to stress.
But you know, South Africans, we like to be first, right?
Yeah, unfortunately, I know that. Okay. Well, fortunately, I know that. I think, so Mara and Marina, not available in India. So I can move to Tanzania. So Tanzania, I'm aware, as Maxwell said, you guys didn't discuss before, so it doesn't matter who goes first. Feel free to pop, as my son always says. So who from Tanzania would like to go first?
I will go first, Chola.
Thank you, Chola.
Okay, I'm going to share Chola's. Give me a second. I'm just sharing that.
Lindia, what will we do without you?
No, a lot.
Okay, Chola, please try to stay in your time. I'm guilty myself because I get interested and I think I might not be fair on time. So please, you try to stay on time. Please, you can start.
Absolutely, yes. Thank you very much. And I just want to appreciate the former presenters and learned some issues around their presentation. But this is a Raleigh Alternative Learning Center. It's in Zanzibar. It's being financed partly by the government, but also they got some funding from African Development Funds, whereby they offer alternative learning for youths who might have not been able to secure an opportunity. They could be dropouts, there could be people who might have not been able to go to school, but they are using government facilities to acquire a 2-year program for their O-level education. So you can move to the next slide. Yes, the reason why I selected this particular photo is the age group of the participants in attending training, and these are the youths whom might have been left behind, and this is an opportunity for them to come back to school and acquire knowledge, skills, and some other training. And the type of ALES services that is depicted here is a qualifying test. It's a 2-year program for them to acquire secondary level certificate or education that is being done for 4 years, but they could sit for 2 years. It's a crash program. It's an accelerated program for them to be able to acquire that knowledge. There are so many participants and stakeholders who are doing the same thing. I understand there is other institutes of Tanzania. There are also folk colleges, there are private centers, there are NGOs doing the same or similar services to out-of-school youth and adolescents. And here in Tanzania, we have even a program called IPOSA, and this also provides the skills, knowledge, and technical know-how on how to survive and to create and to have a decent work. These are the targeted group adolescents. I've just mentioned that, so out-of-school children, youths who might have not been able to complete their schooling, but also they have been given an opportunity to come back. This happens in so many places in Tanzania. I know, especially in the cities and in towns and in the districts, but also we do not see these services within the villages and small centers. So I think there is still a gap in the provision of these services, but when it comes to the cities and towns, we find some of these services being provided. Sometimes twice a week, sometimes three times a week. You can make a progress. The last slide. And I would say there are those that are being financed by government, but there are those that are being financed by different stakeholders, including UN agencies and the government partners. And I've mentioned these programs took place at least once or twice or thrice a week. And some are using government facilities like normal schools, but again, they are being supported by the teachers who are within those schools. And what I've liked about the picture, I think it shows there is room for the second chance for those who might have been left behind due to any circumstance. So I've been so impressed by the picture. These are youth, they are energetic, and you could see them from the picture. And their age bracket is around 20, 17, 18, 20, 25, around there. So this calls for a serious thinking around youths who might have been left behind. But I've also looked at some other pictures. Within that particular picture, I've not seen a female learner, but I think within the other pictures, there are female learners, but most of that particular class, as you could see, there were only boys who were possibly taken by the cameraman, but I think gender inclusion should be one of the very key things as we speak about adult learning and education. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Ojola. Very interesting. It's nice to see how the Tanzania program kicks off. Who is next from, and thanks for staying to your time as much as possible. Who is next from Tanzania? Who wants to go next?
Benjamin.
Okay, Benjamin. Do you have your slides to screen share?
Yeah, Linda have got those slides. Therefore, she can share with us.
India, do you have it?
Oh, yes.
Right. So please try to stick to your time and just go through your slides.
Okay. You can see my
You can.
first slide there with two different. You can see two classes with two different environments. Therefore, by having these two environments, I will try to share and check about the nature of the learning environment where our customers are learning. Therefore, I notice that class A, I've got a nice class and the particular participants are learning and are smiling while learning. But you can see the next class whereby the learners are just there and the heart and the particular area is having bushes around. And I want to check the faces that they are not happy as the next class. Therefore, sometimes I want to say that we as the facilitators, or once we are training our facilitators, we have to check that the learning environment is very crucial for the learners to come and participate in learning. Maybe go to the second line, the second slide. Yeah, that sometimes if you don't care about the learning environment, you can also make some learners not to come again to the class. But also once you check the particular photo for class A, the particular issue is for the program which is known as INCUBI, Integrated Community-Based Adult Education. The particular program have been financed by UNESCO, although they want to be able to cover every program or every class, wherever they are. But you can see the sample, the way the class seems to be. Although the class B is not for Tanzania, but I made that for comparison to check how it seems to be. That's why I said that for this case now, sometimes once you are being supported and having partners in these particular programs, sometimes you can make even the learners learn in a better environment and enjoy learning and participate more and more in the programs.
Okay.
Yeah, and what I can say that for our case now, the facilitators almost are coming from different areas of socialization. There might be some programs which are really being done by the adult educators as our product from the particular levels, whether bachelor or whether maybe diploma or the issue of just certificate. But there are other programs which are being offered by people who are just experts from agriculture or are just interplanners or community development officers who are also doing the same. The particular group almost are youths and the others who are really participating in income generating activities in different communities. But these people, sometimes once they are being together there, they can learn that some of the members of the group that know about what? Reading, writing, and other literacy issues. Therefore, they can also be part of helping others to join and learn other issues beyond the issue of income generating activities. Okay. And these programs also are being offered in different communities, in different districts. They differ according to the needs of the learners. Next slide.
Next slide, Lindia. Okay, Benjamin, you have to wrap it up.
Okay, that's what I said. The particular program almost was piloted in 1993, but after 4 years, it was spread over the country. But the learners almost do agree. When do we meet? Either once a week, depending upon the activity in the particular area. But the issue of conclusion is that we have to respect our learners and consider the learning environment to be fine, so the people who be really feeling better and enjoying the learning. Otherwise, if the environment are not respective, people will not be participating, and this will be also frustrating the learners to come and learn. That is my end of what I have to share with you today.
Thank you so much, Benjamin, for sharing and being on time. I think who remains is Mia, Andrew, and Sempeo. I know you were not in the other session due to circumstances, so I'm not sure if you are presenting. But between you guys, I don't know who wants to go next and how you want to arrange.
I am in.
Sorry, my apologies.
I am in, Sonia.
Oh, you're in. Okay, so then I want
Teresia is going to present.
Okay, so before you present, let me just check with everybody. My feeling is if we can finish Tanzania, if you can bear with us, then we take a body break and we do Uganda and Ethiopia. Is that okay?
Okay.
We have Tanzania.
Yes, you are ready. Yes.
Great, thanks. Teresa next.
Okay. Lindia has the slides.
Lindia is a superwoman. I don't know how she keeps track of all of these slides. There she goes. So Sempeo, Teresa present on behalf of both of you. Am I correct?
Yes.
Okay, great. Lindia, the floor is yours.
Thank you. As you can see the photo, it is 3 of us from the Institute of Adult Education. We have Dr. Sempeo, Oliver Kendole, and I, Teresia. And the photo was taken during, can you go to the second slide? I'll go straight to the points.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, yes.
The second slide, Lindia. There we go.
Yes, we selected that photo since it shows the learning process that is more practical. That was a training of facilitators who were meant to teach in specific areas, the selected areas where there are centers for training youth on the IPOSA program. And we have also selected that photo because it shows that the learning process of adult learners is learning by doing. And during this training of facilitators, they were trained practically so that when they go to the communities to teach the target group, they can easily teach them also by doing, so that they can easily understand. The next question was, what was that was about training of trainers and facilitators. And sorry, I'm going to the questions. Okay, and what type of ALES services does it depict? That was training of trainers. It's an adult education program that meant to train facilitators who can go and teach the targeted group. And who delivers these services in the country? Apart from the Institute of Adult Education, there are also various organizations such as SIDO. SIDO is an abbreviation for Small Industries Development Organization. We have also VETA, that is for vocational education. There are also NGOs and CBOs which also participate in training of trainers who go to the community and help adults in various skills. And where are these services delivered nationwide? Who is the target group? Who is the target group for the services? The target group is meant for out of school children, teenagers, but also those children who miss the opportunities to go, those children who miss the opportunities in the formal education system. So they could not proceed with their formal education system. That is why the program, the IPOSA program, is meant to help those teenagers who missed their chance in the formal schooling system, but also those who never attended the formal education system, but also those dropouts from either primary, secondary, or from primary and secondary schools. And the skills that are offered are simply from the basic literacy skills and pre-vocational skills such as carpentry, welding, tailoring, masonry, and so forth. And this, how, to what range are these services provided? So far, the program is being provided in selected districts. It's maybe in the future time, it's going to be all over the country, but for the time being, it's just in some selected districts. And can you go to the next slide? Okay. Okay. Since when are these services delivered? This is a long-term program which began in 2019 and it is still ongoing. And the program is conducted on daily basis, not less than 3 days per week, depending on the environment. So these teenagers in those particular environments are taught not less than 3 days per week. Some of them go for 5 days a week, where they are taught different skills like life skills, those pre-vocational skills, and so forth. And it depends with the environment. It depends with the availability of the resources and so forth. And what about this photo that makes us proud? On the photo, we have seen that those trainers and trainees are keen with their safety. As you can all see, if you can go back to the photo, the trainers and the trainees are keen with their safety. As we can see, all of them have worn protective gears. They are preparing some dye for making a certain kind of cloth. In Tanzania, we call it batiki. And during the mixing of the chemicals, sometimes they can be harmful. And despite that, they're using local materials and so forth, but they all took measures of their safety. And that is also what they do when teaching the target group in the local communities. Can you go to the third slide, please? Okay. The third slide. Yes. Okay.
Teresa, you have to wrap it up.
Yes, okay. Now, what makes us uncomfortable about the photo? Some materials used were kept on the ground. If you can go back to the photo, which may lead to contamination of the produced products at some point. You can see some leads and some things. So even though they took some safety measures, they also ignored some. So that is what made us uncomfortable about the photo. So that's all from Tanzania.
Thank you so much, Teresa.
From the Institute of Adult Education.
Thank you so much. And representing 3 of you, if I understand correctly. Then I think it's Mia and Andrew remaining. I don't know if you did a joint presentation or you have separate ones. Am I right?
Thank you. Yes, thank you, Sonia. So my name is Mia for everyone, and me and my colleague Shirima has done this presentation, developed these short presentations together. So I will start with the presentation and Shirima will add if I forget something. So we are both working with an organization called Karibu Tanzania Organization, or KHO, and we are a member-based organization with our members from the folk development colleges. That means teachers, principals, participants, etc., coming from the colleges, and they are our members. I can take the next picture. And we are working with all the 55 folk development colleges, and I hope, Sonia, that maybe during this course that we can have a time to discuss and to present something more about these unique colleges that you have in Tanzania. So I will not talk about the colleges today. We have decided just to do this presentation around one of our programs that we have together with the colleges and together with the Ministry of Education, because the time is only 3 minutes. So for today, we have been concentrating ourselves around the Elimu Haina Mwisho's, the Skills Development Program for Young Women through FDCs. Is a long name, but it talks a little bit for itself. And we are proud that it's an alternative education pathway for young women who have been dropping out from school due to various reasons, including pregnancy, but also other reasons. And as I said, KTO is collaborating with the Ministry of Education, and we have developed this program together since 2017 in the way it looks like now. So since 2018, we have been implementing this program together with the ministry as an NGO. It's a national-wide program, so we are implementing it at 54 out of the 55 FTCs right now, targeting the 55th next year in all the 24 regions now in Tanzania mainland, because the colleges are not yet present in the island, I mean Zanzibar, so that's why we are working in mainland for now. Hopefully we will also have FTCs in Zanzibar. I can take the next picture. So we started up this program with the Ministry of Education with 3 FTCs 2018, and as I said, now we have 54 FTCs. It's a national-wide, it's a full-time course program. So it's combining the vocational training, secondary education in the non-formal system that also Chola was a little bit talking about. And we have also component of entrepreneurship and life skills. And it's a 2-year program, but it can also be flexible, 3 years. If you need more time, you can stay on. So the components is like you get 50% secondary education, and you get 30% of the vocational training and 10% entrepreneurship and 10% life skills. That's kind of the package that you get. And you also get free daycare. If you're a young mother, you can also come to the FTC and get free daycare for your child. I think what we're happy with this program, that has been a big achievement for us, developing this program that is now that the FTCs are now functioning as an alternative education pathway. So we're giving young mothers and young women opportunities for further studies, because they will sit for Form 4 examination in the end. But they can also choose if they get that path, but they can also of course choose to go back and more to the market and try to be employed or self-employed. So we try to open up many doors for these young women. So there's a lot to say about this program, but the thing, and there's a lot of things that we're happy with, but if I see this picture and we look at these pictures, so then I think we feel very sorry that in Tanzania and also in Africa, but also in Tanzania, we have a huge challenge with the high dropout rates of girls and young women from both primary and especially secondary schools, and many due to pregnancy. So when I see this young mama here that you can see in the picture, it gives me hope, but it also gives us a little bit of, feeling the big challenge that we have in Tanzania, and I'm also sure in other African countries. Very short, thank you, Sonia.
Very to the point, and let me say, okay, let's first ask Andrew Shirima, you want to add something?
Thank you, Mia, for your nice presentation. I think for now, maybe some other time.
Okay, great. And Mia, thank you for raising a key point. I'm sure many colleagues can already start to see similarities in services, etc. And I noted down, and I'll take it up in the last 10-minute session as well, because it's about building systems, as we say in the ALESBA. But I also understand that there is so much learning to be done. This course is almost 3 for the price of 1, because you will learn the ALESBA. We are all learning new technical skills of online training. But I think we can also learn much about the different services like FTCs, CLCs, etc. So we will see how to make, it will be incorporated as the course goes, but we will also see how do we make time slots, like I almost want to say special sessions. So I take note of your point, Mia, and we will really see how during and in addition we can explore that. So I think we are done with Tanzania as well. Let us then. Thank you so much to everybody until now. So what remains will be Uganda and Ethiopia. So we do a 5-minute break. I don't know if my computer time is correct. It's 4:10 in Ethiopia. So I don't know if it's 2:10 and 2:10 whoever. 5 minutes break. Please time yourself. Then we will come back immediately and start. I wonder if Uganda allows, since Yusuf are the only one, when we come back from the 5 minutes, let Yusuf present. And then we will give the Uganda team the last chance. Is that okay?
Okay, okay.
So 5-minute break, and then
Okay.
after 5 minutes, you will present.
Okay.
Okay, colleagues, take a break, well deserved. See you in 5.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Are we all back? Can we start again?
Yes, 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 yes. I'm ready. I'm ready.
Okay, Yusuf, you are ready. Let me just see if others, before you start, just a minute. Let's
Okay.
see if others are back as well. So that we're there. I see Tanya,
This
thank
can
you for a
be.
sign of life. Good. So Yusuf will present from Ethiopia. I think today you are alone and still we have to try to get the Ethiopia team together. Am I correct? You are presenting from Somali region all the way?
Yeah, of course, of course, of course.
Okay,
Thank you.
very good. Thank you, Cesar. I see you are back. So Yusuf, I think you can start and screen share. So we have the Ethiopia presentation. Please try to stick to your time. And after
Okay.
that, we will have Uganda.
Okay, first of all, I'm saying hello everyone, and Sanjay Balata, Group Admin, and Mr. Robert Maxwell, Ruben Axel, and the others who are in this group. I'm very sorry to say I'm very sorry to miss the first meeting, or I don't know, there's two or one. So
don't worry, that's all of us.
Okay, thank you. Today I was another meeting in Addis. We are with Mr. Yosef and another Minister of Education. They are here in Addis Ababa. So now I take I take to share with you this meeting. So first of all, my country is Ethiopia, as you know, Special Somali Regional Education Bureau. So why I use this photo? Do you proceed the other slide? Why I choose this? Yes. Why I select this photo and what I need to communicate the reader or the address of this group, because of the front mother and her child, the front mother picture, who is have the child, how she learns, because they have another busy, because they have child, they are doing homework and other activities. For example, in Somali culture, the females are doing well in the family. So she have another, what I can say. So she's busy, but need to learn a second chance and taking careful light examination in the Dahidi school. This is school center in Jijiga. We take an examination. So at that time, I feel some, for example, when we make awareness creation, sometimes the child who are free to learn, he denied the school. But this girl or this female girl, she have busy another business, but she need to learn. So adult education, most of them are females. If you see the photo image, if females learning means communities learn. This is, for example, if you learn, we can in Somali, there's or in Ethiopia we can say, if you learn a man, you learn one person. But if you learn or give a chance for female, that means you learn, yes, the community, yeah, because of the female girl or the mothers, they have no different responsibility for the families. So if she learn well, then the child is learning well. So I can take, when when she take this exam, I feel something. I don't know whether you feel when you see the child here and she take to do the exam. So I try to minimize. I don't write, because I was another meeting, so I'm not write buzu and I do not write money words here. So thank you for this platform. I have two challenges. For example, our challenge is, the first is network. Network system is very, very, for example, in Jijiga, sometimes network is busy. The other is, for Saturday, we have management meeting. I don't know, the time is the same. Most of the, for some Thursday, 3 p.m., we have another meeting. I don't know how I share this. So I need to communicate the other mother with child is ready to learn. If we give the chance, persuade, teach, learn process, how the child with this image is learning behind a parental child education. So the photo that I use is, communicate such, you understand? But I have two challenges. I don't know how I break this challenge, because Saturday we have another management committee meeting in Somali region. That time my title, I don't know, you introduced before me, and I'm adult and non-formal directorate, Somali regional estate.
Thank you, Yusuf. Don't stress on the timing issues, and then thank you for taking time out today. We will discuss at the end of the session. As I said, we're going to allocate 10 minutes at the end of the session to go deeper into the issues. How can we still give people
the other Fadhi is with me, and he's in the meeting. Fadhi, I'm so sorry to say.
He's here. Okay.
Yeah, he's in the meeting. I take a chance and I see this. Yeah, he's in the
good. As I said, we will discuss at the end, and I will arrange a meeting just with the Ethiopia team as well, since I am in Ethiopia at the moment. So we will do that. So please don't stress, but thank you for your presentation so much.
Thank you.
Now, can we move to Uganda? Imelda, team leader, I don't know if you have a sequence or whether you guys just go like the other countries one by one.
Thank you, facilitator. We have one presentation.
Oh, wow. Okay. Then I'll have to give you more than 3 minutes.
Okay.
Screen sharing for you.
Linda has the slide.
Imelda, can you see? I am screen sharing at the moment for you.
It's running, so maybe it's still coming.
Is it not showing?
We just see the list of documents. It doesn't go.
Okay. Don't worry about that. So let me first open it up.
I was a bit afraid there, Sonia. When I saw all the documents, I thought my computer was going crazy again. And then I realized I was going, oh my word.
You're okay. You're okay. So we are getting into it in a minute.
Can you imagine how funky that could be?
Can you
when
see it?
Other people's list of documents pops up in your face.
Exactly. There it comes. Okay, let people please mute yourself. Imelda, present.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Are you hearing me? There's a lot of noise.
Yeah, we hear in the background,
So,
but we can hear you.
Apologies.
Okay.
I'm in the
We still
field.
hear you. It's okay.
Yes.
Please go ahead.
So, good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Imelda.
Okay. We shall have another, I think there is another one presentation from our colleagues in Unbound.
That's okay.
So let me use the 3 minutes only.
Or I can give you
strictly.
4
So
cameras.
Okay, this is Ale in Uganda. As you can see the picture, that is the class environment or a learning environment in one of our community empowerment groups here in Uganda in the district of Mpigi. And they are learning, the facilitator is helping the learners to actually complete the exercises he had given them, the literacy and numeracy exercises. Second slide, please. Okay, so the picture that we've seen is depicting one of the forms of ALE that is provided in Uganda, and the learning environment, as well as the creativity of the facilitators. If we can go back to the picture, we go back to slide 1, please.
Lindia, can you click back to the first slide?
That one?
The one with
Okay,
the picture.
let me explain as she's taking us back.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes, I wanted to talk more about the kind of service that is taking place. It is the adult literacy. They are learning literacy and numeracy as an early service, but it is also integrated with other skills. And as you saw in the picture, the environment is an open building. It's a class, but with no windows and shutters. On the creativity of the facilitator, you can see those big pictures, which are in a television form for purposes of helping learners to understand. So the facilitator actually uses those locally made materials to moderate the learning within the class. However, we have other forms of adult learning and education, although they are not depicted in the picture. We have financial literacy under the Village Savings and Loans Association. We have the livelihood skills training. We have community development, continuing education, vocational skills, lifelong learning at the Community Learning Center, among others. And the providers in Uganda, we have both state and non-state. As you are aware, adult learning and education is a cross-cutting service, so it cannot be a one partner activity. So we have ministries, departments, and agencies, but also civil society, community-based organizations, private sector, etc. So our ALES services in Uganda target the non and semi-literate youth and adults from 15 years and above. So constitutionally in Uganda, children stop at age 18, but because of the situations on the ground, you find that some of the young people, before they make 18 years, they're out of school. Some of them are child mothers, child fathers, among other reasons. So we tend to target pragmatically 15 years so that we take care of those children who cannot join the formal primary education so that they can learn through adult learning as a second chance opportunity. The other services in the country are delivered nationwide, and they are under national programs, so currently we have a national program. However, there are also projects, but the projects are in specific districts. So the nationwide program that we are trying to work on is called the Integrated Community Learning for Wealth Creation, which is commonly known as ICOLEM. So we can go to the next slide. The next slide, please.
Lindia, can you do the next slide? Oh,
Hello,
yes,
please.
right, thank you. Imelda, I think you can continue.
Okay. So, thank you. The services, these services of early have been around since the time of missionaries. Yeah, in Uganda, adult learning and education services has been on from the time of missionaries, but it has been changing over time. It has been evolutionary. And of course, the change is informed by the current circumstances. Every now and then, the programs are developed to address the current situation and emerging needs. So the current government program, like I've already said, that we are implementing is called the Integrated Community Learning for Wealth Creation Program, ICOLEO, which began in 2016. In this program, the learning is twice a week. However, as a standard for adult learning and education, we are aware that the learning has to be 6 contact hours, a minimum of 6 contact hours at least per week. So depending on the facilitator, there is some flexibility. One can do 2 hours per day for 3 days, or 3 hours per day for 2 days in a week. One of the interesting things that we have in the picture, from that picture that we shared in the first slide, is that there is commitment of learners. The learners are committed. There is passion and creativity of the facilitator. If you looked at the ladies, the way they are doing the work as they are being guided by the facilitator, everybody is busy. Nobody is just looking around. Everybody is busy with their business in their books, meaning that they are committed and they are aware that what they are learning is of great benefit to them. And then the facilitator is very creative. If you look at the materials, the kind of materials that he's using are not materials that have been given to him by government, from central government or from local government, but they are locally made materials by the facilitator himself in order to facilitate effectively. And the frustrating thing about the picture is the issue of male involvement and male participation in the adult learning and education programs. As one of them, in our country, we have a challenge. The males are not so much in adult learning and education. They constitute approximately 20% of the adult learners. The second displeasing factor is the poor state of the learning shelter where the learners are. It does not have shutters, no windows and doors, so it means the learners and the facilitator cannot live there. They are learning and teaching materials. So, and if it rains, it's a rainy season here in Uganda and there is wind, there are chances of getting distracted by the rain and the wind in the building. And of course, all these affect the learning environment as well as the issues that are associated. So we cannot effectively transform the people we are trying to pass the service to if the learning environment is not as good. Thank you so much. That is the presentation. This was from one side, but we are going to get another side of the story from the civil society. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Imelda. Before we give time to the civil society to present, since you did one presentation, let me just ask from your team members, is there any other brief comment before we go to the Unbound presentation? Something to add?
Yeah, they are online, let them add.
Yeah, if they want to, just since you are so kind to save us time, I can give this opportunity. Then if there isn't, I just want to ask you, Imelda, maybe just for the participants' interest, you mentioned ICOLO. Can you just mention the components of the ICOLO? I think it has 3 or 5 components, if you can just mention, and then we will go to the Unbound.
Okay, thank you so much. The ICOLO program has 5 components. The first one is the literacy and numeracy component, and this focuses on the functional literacy and numeracy skills, especially to enable the learners to acquire the literacy and numeracy skills. Of course, we have different levels. There are people who join when they don't know how to read and write, while others know some level of writing. They have some levels of literacy and the numeracy skills. So we use the multi-level learning to ensure that all of them learn. And at the end of the learning cycle, which is 2 years, they are able to actually to have gone higher on the literacy, the LAMP scale. The second component is the Village Saving and Loans Association. And this is about financial literacy, but also mobilizing resources or finances for easy access of the learners for purposes of investment in order to improve on their livelihood situation. And the third component is the livelihood skills training that is teamed with the business skills training. Of course, as the adults come to learn, they continue with their responsibility of being bread earners for their families. So we focus on building their capabilities to effectively implement the different, or to put into practice the different skills in order to improve production, but also to do recording and run their projects effectively. And that's why even the VSLA component is critical, because they borrow money for investment and they invest in the different enterprises for purposes of creating wealth at the end of the day, because that is the ultimate goal of our program as a contribution to the country's socio-economic transformation. We have another component of community development. The community development component looks at the capacity of the communities to participate effectively in the development processes, whereby they through the participatory appraisal methodologies, they're able to identify their key learning issues. And these key issues actually form basis for the learning. Once these issues have been identified, they dialogue about them, and at the end of the day, the groups develop group action plans, which also inform the village action plans. So depending on the key issue that has been identified, the groups go into action in order to cause transformation, in order to address the challenge or the concern. So we do this in order to promote community-led development, whereby it is the community first. They are able to show what they're able to do in their action plan. They develop an action plan, identify the things they're able to do, while also seeking for the contribution or the support of other service providers from the local government, different sectors in the local government, the civil society, and other service providers within the community. We finally have the community learning center component, which tries to add up all the components, because they are hubs for lifelong learning within the community, continuous education, but also they are centers for integrated service delivery across the sectors. So those are the components of our program. Thank you.
Muted, sorry. Thanks, Imelda. Can we then have the last presentation, which is Unbound?
Sonia, I had my hand up.
Oh, sorry, Caesar, apologies. Please go ahead.
It's okay. Thank you so much, Sonia, and thank you, Imelda, for representing us very well. My only contribution to the presentation is the, in the picture you see just a facilitator, but as Imelda mentioned, the different components of the program, it doesn't mean that the facilitator delivers all that. There is a team of experts behind the facilitator, from agriculture, from commercial production, from health, and all those are support the facilitator to deliver these different skills in an integrated manner. So we have that kind of integration in Uganda in early service delivery, where different sectors come together to support the facilitator in areas where he lacks those skills. So I think that I thought that was also important to add. Thank you so much.
Definitely. Thank you so much, Caesar. Elizabeth, very quickly, before we give the last presentation a chance, I see your hand is up.
All right. After that other presentation, I would like to present for Malawi.
You are so welcome. We'll be happy to have Malawi. Thank you. So can we have Unbound, your 3 minutes? And then we will have a Malawi voice, which is nice to know. Who's presenting for civil society? Patrick.
Hello, team. And this is Unbound Kampala project, and we are going to present about the ALE program that we do as an organization. We are an organization that is working with the people in the local communities to walk out of poverty. Well, my second slide.
Cynthia, can you go to the second slide, or are you doing yourself, Elizabeth?
Oh, sorry.
There you are, okay.
Okay, what on the question on what do I want to communicate? In our country, there has always been a lot of environmental degradation, which has been rampant in the country, whereby forests are cut down to burn charcoal. Hence, realizing the need to invent new measures to replace the use of firewood and charcoal. And therefore, as we started the ALE program under the ICOLE, which is Integrated Community Learning for Wealth Creation, we started this service of the practical and vocational learning skills. Who delivers the service? It is ICOLE facilitators from Unbound Kampala. The target group are adult learners, and the scope of the service delivery, it is in Chotera district, Uganda. Since when have we been delivering this? It started in 2020. Up to date, the service is still ongoing. We are still under this program, and it is often done 2 days in a week. What about this photo? What makes me happy about it? I am happy that people are able to fight environmental degradation through making charcoal briquettes, as you can see in the picture. They are inventing a new technique of making charcoal briquettes using their locally made materials from the rubbish that people normally throw away. So the briquettes can be made with less capital, hence ICOLE learners have gained the skills to generate both family income and for home consumption. This is helping the adult learners to get out of poverty. And what frustrates me about the photo is people have to improvise measures on how to run their project. As you see, they are laying their charcoal briquettes to be dried on an old iron sheet, but they are trying to utilize the local materials. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and for being on time and brief. Then the absolute last, please bear with us, dear participants. The last will then be Malawi, before we engage a little bit with the presentations. So can you stop screen share, and then we can give Malawi an opportunity. Thank you so much. The last. Okay. Can you mute yourself? Unbound. Okay.
Oh, hi. Can you see my screen?
We can, so please go ahead.
All right. The photo that is there is for an adult learning session in one of the community learning centers here in Malawi in Blantyre. It is for an approach which is referred to as integrated adult education. But since this one is inclusive, it includes people with disabilities, it is referred to as the inclusive integrated adult education. This approach of adult education here in Malawi mostly has been piloted by DVV and is being offered by DVV and some of its partners, but also we have some other pilot projects which are being run by the Ministry of Gender, but it's not available in all the districts in the country. Currently, close to 5 districts, that's where the integrated adult education has been rolled out. The target is usually people with no formal education, both adults and youth. And the adult education sessions are conducted weekly at a time which is mostly convenient to the learners. So the adult education facilitator and the learners agree on the time which is best for both of them to conduct the classes. They also make sure that the time where the sessions are conducted do not inconvenience the learners, making them unable to do some of the productive things that they do on a daily basis. Integrated adult education is usually centered, learning is centered on things which are of importance to the learners, particularly issues that affect the learners day in, day out. For example, issues to do with health, such as sanitation, things to do with agriculture, such as manure making, formation of cooperatives, among other issues. The similarity with other adult education approaches is that they both concentrate on literacy and numeracy. So, despite engaging on issues that affect their day-to-day lives, but by the end of the day, from those topics which they discuss, they have to learn literacy and numeracy. And also, another similarity with other approaches is that, firstly, when they enroll for the program, they learn literacy and numeracy through the local language. And when they graduate, that's when they can enroll for English classes. Some of the challenges which have been faced in this program is that there's lack of expertise knowledge, so that when the learners are engaging in those discussions, the discussions are rich and also they are talking from an informed point of view. Because the facilitator would need expert knowledge from other people like agricultural extension workers, health surveillance assistants, depending on the topic on which they are discussing. So where there is little collaboration between the instructor and the other expertise, especially the extension workers, the discussions are not as rich as they are supposed to be, because the facilitators are limited to what they know. Another challenge has been lack of motivation among instructors, because mostly the honorarium which they get is on the lower side. So DVV and other partners follow the rate which has been put forth by the government as the honorarium for the facilitators, which is just a little amount. So most of the facilitators move to do other things because the honorarium is just too low and it doesn't give any motivation. Another challenge is that most of the IAE classes are dominated by women. Very few men enroll in the classes. Although of late there have been other men who have been enrolling because they feel that it's not just about learning how to read and write, but they also gain other knowledge which is important to the day-to-day endeavors. So slowly the men are enrolling for the classes, but majority of the participants are women. Thank you, and over to you.
Thank you so much, Elizabeth. Okay, participants, I am aware the time is running, and thank you so much for staying on. You may wonder, why did we do so many presentations today? It's really to start to get, as I said, a scope of how wide the services are. And I'm quite aware that what was presented, it might not even be all the services in the country. So we will incorporate this gradually. If you didn't manage to upload your assignments on the OLA, we will discuss again about that at the end, but we must make sure in some way or means we get it, even if you email it to me and Lindia, because I need to take all this context in account when we design the next sessions. I really want to make the sessions country specific for yourselves. So in the interest of time, I'm not going to go through all the questions of the framework I presented. I just want to invite general comments, that things that came up in your mind as people presented. whether it's similarities, whether it's differences, whether it's specific things that sort of struck you. I would like to know more about it. And then we will definitely make time in the next session, session 3, to elaborate a bit, the discussion a bit deeper and more analytical. Now, I'm so sorry we don't have enough time, so don't fear, we will tap into many of these things. I can imagine you are having some frustration. You wanted to say more, you wanted to ask more. I get it. So I will adjust the next session to give you opportunity. So by show of hands, I already see Maxwell. And so from here onwards, just please show your hands so that I can direct the discussion. So
yes, Sonia, I'll be very brief, and I'll just say how much I've noticed the integration of the commonality, the common fields of interest and the common sponsors. And I do know that the role of the government came through quite strongly, and vocational skills, but most that took my heart was the Ethiopian story of how the teaching process is passed on from the mother to the child. And that is the most important, because if that foundation is not set properly, then we can do what we want in adult education. So I really love that story. And even you're living here, I'm living on the Bellville side of Cape Town, and I see a lot of Somalian and Ethiopian families moving around in the city of Bellville here. And I see them holding the children's hands, and I see them passing on that culture. So that culture of learning coming through there from Somalia and Ethiopians very strongly. And I've seen it with my own eyes, and it's something beautiful. And to hear someone in a forum like this, speaking from his home country, now I can see the relationship between the home country and what I'm seeing here on the streets of Cape Town, from people being labeled as refugees and passing on that culture, because they really do stick to their culture. So what I've seen him say is what I've seen right here in Cape Town.
Imelda, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, facilitator and the facilitators and the participants. There is a lot of learning. Actually, before you talked about, my worry was, are we going to have enough time to share? Because part of our expectations is to share experiences in this learning process. But I have two comments which are general. Looking at the different presentations from the different countries and the individuals and groups, I saw that we have common target group in terms of those who missed enrolling or those who missed chances of formal education, but also the dropouts, those who dropped out before completing the cycles of learning, and at the same time also providing second chance programs for such categories of people. The second general observation is that there is a lot of gender issues in A across the different countries. In some of the places, specifically, I think Tanzania, there is a photo where they only had the males. So the issue was the involvement of the females, although the presenter said that maybe the person who took the picture targeted the males only. But when you look at the other presentations, I think the females generally dominate the early spectrum. So it's a gender, it's a concern, because if we are talking about transformation, we need the involvement and participation of the different categories of persons, the women and the men. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Imelda. Anybody else? Any other contributions?
Yes, Sonia, I...
Go ahead, Caesar.
Caesar, I have just one. Of course, looking at the different interventions that we have had from our colleagues from the different countries, and seeing all these the similarities, just like Meridas mentioned, I have only one question, and it keeps on lingering in my mind that how coordinated are all these efforts? Because if you, for example, see the different, I'll take an example of Tanzania or maybe South Africa, that all these efforts that we are engaged in as early practitioners, are we coordinated? Do we speak the same language? Do we contribute to the same monitoring and evaluation framework? Do we have a joint management information system where we all contribute to and we can evaluate our efforts? I think it's a question that I'm still, that maybe didn't come out like in the different presentations, that we work with this ministry or so yeah, it's a question that is on my mind. I wanted to contribute.
Thank you so much, Caesar. By the way, that is one of the points in my notes. So I'm so happy you raised it. We'll come definitely to that. Maxwell, you have to wait. There are 2 more in line before you can come. So just hang on, please. I'll give Ana Paula a chance and then Tandi, and then you can raise your issue again. Ana
Hi,
Paula.
Sonia. Hi, I was just in, I liked a lot of those issues that came up. And the thing that I noticed as well was that there was only one mention of the environmental crisis, of work towards what we're doing in Africa as a united group about it. And I found that quite interesting. Thanks.
Tandi?
Thank you so much. I was so engrossed and so motivated by the various presentations. And in fact, I wished that our students would have been here, because some of them do similar projects, but to see how other countries are really offering them. But just like Caesar, I think that issues of collaboration further would really benefit all of us, because I think there's so much that we can learn from one another, and going forward, that's what I realized. So there's so much good happening out there. Thank you.
Thank you for saying that. My biggest fear is, I'm coming to you, Maxwell. My biggest fear is that you guys think, oh, all sessions will be like this. All of this is going to feed into exactly the kind of system Caesar is talking about. We are really going to pull things in. So bear with us. And Tandi, for all your students and anybody else that have university students, we are going to do a special seminar series where students can attend. So I'm marketing that in advance. Maxwell, your point briefly.
Okay, so for that, you have to include the University of Cape Town's adult education program.
We will invite
with Linda Cooper and Salma Ismail. I'm a graduate of that program, and I see what our counterpart is saying. Yes, we have the general education training and certificate in South Africa, which exits young learners into vocational programs. But I would like to see a united, like we have in Europe and Britain, A-levels, O-levels. I would like us, our youngsters from Africa, all parts of Zimbabwe and Malawi, to say that we have an accredited standard of adult education, that you can now jump from Ethiopia to Somalia, Angola, Zimbabwe, with that vocational, and then take it further. That's what I would like to see.
That's a big dream. Thank you, Maxwell. We will first start to do systems in our own countries, but it's exactly the kind of thing we are looking to. Ochola, I can allow 1 or 2 more people. Ochola, you have your hand up. Ochola, can you unmute yourself? There you go.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes, we do.
The other thing, I think, looking across the board due to in the presentations that we had so far, I think there is a lot of things that are being done in different places in Africa. But also, I was curious to look at the creativity and innovativeness through which adult learning and education is being conducted.
Mm-hmm.
I think there is a need also to look at what can a digital space provide in adult learning and education. In most cases, we have been able to bring these people in one particular center ignoring that there is a possibility through which technology can be harnessed to get them to learn, to interact, to share as we are doing here at this particular course. So I think possibly maybe we didn't concentrate on those particular elements, but looking from the pictures, looking from the hearing from the presentation, I think mostly when it comes to adult learning and education, we still refer the methodologies and the setups of the first industrial revolution or setup. But currently we're in the fourth industrial revolution, and I think that has to come on board, especially when we need to intervene and design programs that will be attractive to so many youths and other people who might be out of the education system. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Ojola. Are there any other hands, or can I conclude this with a reference to next week's session? And then we can go into this last technical part. It seems there are no other hands. So thank you so much for sitting through all the presentations, and I'm so happy if you enjoyed them. We will give more time for sharing. I noted that expectation in last week's session, and we also assumed as much. Next week, I will give a little bit more time to get into these topics, maybe deeper, but I want to give you next week the background about the ALESBA. Why did ALESBA start in the first place? And it started in a response to many of the issues and the challenges all of you mentioned. And you've seen there are similar challenges, there are different challenges. And I want to jump back to what Caesar said. You know, if you think about primary education or even higher education, there is a specific system that manages that education component. For example, if you look at primary education, whether it's government schools, private sector schools, there is a system that manages it. Even the private sector has to contribute all their results, as Caesar mentioned, to a joint M&E system. In adult education, it seems we are so diverse. We don't often coordinate with each other. We struggle even to have our voice heard at national levels or even at local levels sometimes. So how do we go about with all these contributions what you guys made today? And imagine how many others there are that we didn't even capture today. How do we pull all of these services into a cohesive system that targets our learners? And who are the learners that's supposed to be targeted? With which modalities? And that is why adult learning and education system building is such a comprehensive approach that we have to look at, why it takes a long time to build it. And so today it's just the beginning. We are starting to unpack slowly by slowly so that we can come up with the building blocks of a system. So from my side, really thank you for listening. As usual, this will be it's recorded and it will be on the OLA, on the learning management system. But you are also welcome to just tap in with your fellow country teammates to get more information. I want to give a bit of time. I know we are already on the end of the session, but we have discussed a lot, Lindia and I, because we really want to make this worthwhile course for you. We've also discussed with the Moja colleagues. And as I mentioned, and I think you saw on the WhatsApps, every Monday there's an hour of student hour or office hours where I will be online from in South Africa time 2, East Africa time 3 in the afternoon. If you have questions, you can tap in. But the idea also came to me when Lindia and I had these country team meetings with you about 2 weeks ago, that maybe since you are going to build practically, you will apply the ALESBA knowledge in country context to build and improve systems in your countries. I'm wondering, and so I'm using this forum to ask, I'm wondering whether it's not rather worthwhile to extend the office hours and have time with country teams. For example, half an hour with Uganda, half an hour with Tanzania, where it's not just about your individual learning, but it's about bringing you as a country team together, because there's a lot of country team assignments also as we progress. And so I want to flag that, and we can still have individual time. because we can see, due to the number of the participants that joined, we can't always have enough time for all of you to present or to unpack in detail. So my idea is to spend a little bit more time with you in your country team. So by the time we come to our Thursday time slot, which is almost like a plenary session, you have already shared a lot as a country team, and you feed that into, can I call it, Pan-African kind of experience and learning. So I want to hear what people feel about that. And then we will go through the topics. We will also come to the learning management system. So let me first hear, how do you feel about the student hours and maybe making that more of country team hours with myself and Lindia also where she's needed if it's technical things. Can I have some feedback? Simpeo, I see your hand. Simpeo, please go ahead.
Yeah, actually, my hand.
Unmute yourself, Simpeo.
Who is,
okay.
You can hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm sure you know there's a colleague at the Ministry of Education who is an expert in higher education, and he is disabled. He has disabilities with eye, so he didn't see the call for this training, but he just heard when we were in Dodoma for a meeting. So he said, please, may I request a special permission, because I could not see it timely, that I also participate in the ALESBA training. So I said I will share it during the session, and if they will agree, I will kindly add your name, because you know he will need to follow us through voice because he cannot see, but he is able to follow up and contribute significantly. So this is what I wanted to really say before you close up the session.
Simpeo, I think it is useful for each country team actually to have the range of stakeholders. And since you don't have somebody from government, especially national level, it may be useful for you to include him. I think we can make last exception because, guys, we are now going to progress and every session will build on the next. So it will be very hard for people to catch up. But if the Tanzania team can bring him on board with the first and this session, that is still okay, because then you will have that voice as part of your stakeholder group. Okay. Does that answer your question, Simpeo?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay. So what about, okay, Benjamin, my suggestion of the student hours and more country team time to discuss issues. Benjamin, let's hear from you. Benjamin, can you unmute? Can you unmute first?
I'm saying that if it could be possible, participants from each country who are really in this particular program should have a WhatsApp group so that they can share their issues together, because sometimes for us, we are working in different institutions and a bit a distant one. Therefore, probably by having a WhatsApp group, it will be easy for us to share our issues or our concerns in our WhatsApp group and learn together and share together to reduce the time of presentation for other programs in the near future.
True. Okay, noted. And that's why I think if you have country assignments and after your assignment, you spend, let's say, half an hour with me, we can go through that assignment deeply. So by the time we are in this Thursday session, you present a joint assignment, and we rather focus the Thursday sessions more on sharing between the countries and giving more information on the ALESBA content. This is, so I want to turn things sort of upside down, and that's why I'm checking with you guys whether you are comfortable with that. Maxwell, okay?
Yes.
Okay. Let
Yes,
me hear.
that's what we call in mainstream education the flipped classroom.
Okay.
Where you take the learners to do the work and then we bring it back to us.
So we flip it. Tandy, I saw you had a thumbs up. Maybe we can ask this. People who are okay with this, can you do a thumbs up for us in your reactions or physically? And then we will see how to schedule and we will share with you guys. Thank you. I see many thumbs. Caesar, is that a thumb up? Oh, Caesar has 2. Okay, great. Mia and others, are you okay with this? So I will contact each country team leader and check with you. Thank you also, I see Elizabeth and others. I'll contact the country team leaders to check with you the timing and how we can do this. And the Thursday session remain, but we will discuss the country team sessions that it's on a regular, on the same time slot. Okay. Then I think that is sorted. I will go through that in detail and get back.
Can I add one more point, Sonia? Just
Last
one more.
point. Last
I do think that your suggestion is very valuable for me, since that the office hours might be the time that I actually add my value to the discussion and the assignment, because I might be trapped in a classroom on the Thursday.
Yes.
So I might be able to do my contribution and discussion and then just kind of wing the Thursday.
It will balance.
Thanks, Sonia.
This is exactly the idea, that you guys have a more flexible modality to still learn. Emmanuel, I saw your hand as well, or you are covered. Then I want to move. Sorry.
Sorry, Sonia, I was not saying thumbs up or down. I was just not doing that. This is Mia, because I'm just thinking about timing and to be available and all the things. So that's why I'm like, but I think it's not a bad idea. It's a nice idea. It's only that I think we need to see how it can be possible, because of more like that it's in the middle of our days.
Exactly. That's why I want to discuss with each country team what is the best possible. And the country team meetings is not a must. It is just really to help and to give a bit of extra input. So instead of office hours, I will give extended time, and the Moja platform was kind enough to allow it, so that we can, it's basically enhancement of your learning opportunity. But if you can only make the Thursday, that's okay. If you have time to do both, or if you couldn't make the Thursday, maybe this could also help as a catch up beyond the recordings and the documents. So I hear what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah, and I think it can also be how we organize ourselves as a team, in terms that it can be represented with our staff. Yeah. So thank you for taking your time to add in. So
I just realized the content is not always light, so we have to find a way to really to promote adult learning principles. So that's what we are trying to do. Okay. Then I'll get back, as I said, to the country teams and leaders, especially, and ask you guys to help me to coordinate among your team members. I understand that some of you had challenges to register on the OLA, and I want to know maybe if you have questions for Lindia now, or whether Lindia is also very busy. This is not her only job, the ALESBA. But Lindia, I don't know how you want, maybe you want to say something. How can we support?
I think if people can reach out to me individually, I know that a few people have said that they were not able to upload the assignment on the learner management system. The reason you couldn't do that is because we didn't set it to enable it for you to it's just we didn't set it for you to be able to upload it. So with the next one, we will make sure that we set it for you to be able to upload it. But please, if you can reach out to me individually, you can drop me a mail. I think please use the mojaeducation@gmail.com email as the general email to reach us on, because I'm always checking that mail. So please reach out, or just in the way. I can either send you some videos to help you through the process, or we can see how we can make it work.
Perfect. Thank you, Lindia. And so please, all these assignments upload, or in the worst case scenario, email, because I have to work with this for the next sessions. And then just to note, remember we said last time, there's different countries that printed the ALESBA booklet. So please make sure you contact DVV International in your countries to access if you want nice hard copies of the booklets, because as of next week, we are going to work in the contents of the ALESBA booklets. If you can't access via DVV, please download. Lindia already sent that link. I think the WhatsApp communication worked very well. Tandy, I see your hand. I'll get back to you now. Seems to me the WhatsApp works very well, and I really want to thank you for being active on it. I want to thank you for sending messages when you can't make it, because it alerts us that you are just not attending and you're not a dropout already. So we are very grateful for that information. So please continue that kind of communication and feel free. Tandy, you had a point?
Yes, thank you, Sonia. I'm not sure if you partly answered me because I couldn't hear Lindia well because of the network. But I wanted to find out if do we still send this assignment via email, or must we wait until you open it up for us to submit on the platform?
Lindia?
So for this assignment, if you can send it to me.
Oh, Lindia, you're breaking up.
Okay, we'll send it to her. Okay.
Yeah, I think via email, and then we can get it all there.
Drop the email address in the chat box. Okay,
so have a look in the chat box, and then please send it there, because I have to take this context and it will elaborate over time. So I have to track it to make sure I make the course context specific. I think from our side, then last reminders is next week, Thursday, as they say, same time, same place. We take note of all your comments. Monday, I will do the office hour for 1 hour because we are not in the country teams yet, but I will discuss. And then the week after, we will do country teams. So if you have any questions or things you want to still get back to me, Monday at 2, that is South African time, 3 East Africa time. And then team leaders, I will contact you to arrange for your country team meetings for the week after. There's one point I forgot, I think, that I still wanted to say. Country team, student hours, what am I forgetting? I hope it's not a serious thing. I will have to WhatsApp that. So colleagues from my side, I think, thank you so much. It was
Thanks, Sonia.
Was exhilarating to hear all your context. We enjoyed. Please.
Can I add something? I'm so glad that I could enjoy. I was so glad that I could enjoy this class, since I'm actually on school holiday, because I'm actually working at a high school. So I'm looking, I really wanted to enjoy it, because I don't know how it's going to be from next week.
Okay, we will really see, as I said, how we can make it more flexible for all of you. Thank you, participants, for staying longer. Thank you so much, Lindia, for all screen sharings and assistance.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Mara's
got a hand up.
Mara's hand, but I think she can talk to us. So the rest of you, ciao. Mara, let's hear what you say. Mara?
Hello. Yes, hello. Sorry for the not connecting. It's the load shedding. So when it's load shedding, yeah. So normally by us it's about 2 till 4. That I just thought, okay, let me just try and see if I can get in again. Yeah, and now I missed everything.
Oh, Mara, please watch the video, and we will try to give you a chance in the next session to present. It's so sad. But fully understand, believe me. I sit every minute in stress for internet.
Tell me, so the assignment, where do I get it? Will I get it on this platform, on the link, or
are you talking the former assignment? Or this, there isn't an assignment for this week. This is the point I forgot. There is no assignment for this week. So relax, Mara.
Okay, all right. Great. But I'll speak to you on Monday then.
Yes,
or during next week.
Yes, you are welcome for the student hours on Monday. Okay. Thanks.
All right. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye. Bye.